when you are around the building, what is the general sense about the Chargers in 2023, Austin?
Yeah, you had two parts in there. You said a lot's riding on 2023, but in my mind, I'm like, how else would you want it? Like that's what gets me fired up. It's like, okay, like my organization is betting on me having a decline after this year, right? Myself, I'm fully invested in this. Like I'm fully invested. I have everything to prove, not just to all the other teams, not just to my own team and even myself, but like there's so much energy. There's so much just want to in front of me. And it gives me so much motivation, so much discipline. It keeps me on track. And so I love the position that I'm in, even though it didn't necessarily play out the way I wanted to. I think it played out in the best circumstance for me to continue pushing forward as a human being. So I'm super, super looking forward. But going back to your next question.
Yes, sir.
Going back to the Chargers, the potential in our room, on paper, we look good. I think we've seen that for, the last X amount of years. But what's been our biggest holdup? It's consistency, whether that's through injuries, through people not playing to their standards, through, coaching. There's a whole combination. That's why football's so great. All of this has to work in some type of chemistry for you to have success. And if one thing is wrong, it's going to be hard for you to get through. You can still make it through, but it's going to be hard. And the more things you have clicking for you, the better you're going to be in the end. And so, time will tell with us. It's so hard to tell. We got some talent coming in that I'm excited about. We got Q that we drafted number 1. Love it. We have a whole basketball team now and me. Come
on now. You could be the Curry here, come on now. We got you.
We got you. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to go play out there, run around with the boys. It's going to be a fun year for sure.
No, I know. Is there like a sign, like an amusement park outside the wide receiver room? You have to be this tall to be here, and it's like 6'5". Is there a sign there in Los Angeles like that, Austin?
Yeah, I think it says you have to play above the rim, something like that. So I'm excited to see that to come. It's going to be a fun year, like I said. And we got people that contract years are coming up for people. Excited about Coach Staley coming back as well, and bringing the same defense. So I'm expecting bigger things from them this year. Just understanding what the expectation is, the culture's being set, and I think it's just a big testament and a big statement year for all of us, honestly. Where it's like, hey, we've had talent, but we've only made it to the first round of playoffs once, and so there's a lot of pressure. And like I said before, my other little statement I made, where it's like that's what you want. You want pressure because that means there's expectations. That means you've earned the right to have that pressure, and now it's just time for us to go out there and execute.
And your quarterback's got a contract coming, I would assume, as well. So
big one.
How does that play in your world, Austin? With that still hanging out there.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where it's like there's more things on our plate. For him as an individual, there's more on his plate. He's already super motivated, wants to do the best, but now there's even more on there. So it just continues to solidify how you want to continue to impress and move forward and progress. And so I know he's going to be, locked in even more than he ever has, just like he is every single year. He continues to get better, continues to learn the game, continues to understand and become more of that offensive, hey, I run this that we need. And I'm really looking forward to coming in. I think it's year 4 for him. So the kid's growing up. It's crazy.
How is Kellen Moore going to change things up? Look, I don't want you to give me your new playbook here on the air, but that is a huge question that is being asked in regards to the Chargers offense, bringing in the offensive coordinator of the team that had the most points per game last year in Dallas. How are thinking? What can you tell me, Charger fans, how this offense is going to look differently this year?
Yeah, I can't necessarily tell you before we actually see it play out.
Okay.
And here's the reason behind that, because whoever your coordinator is, I don't care who it is. Here's the thing: we're going to go through training camp. We're going to go through preseason. We're going to go through a couple games, and you're going to start to find out, okay, who's hot, who's not, who's our identity, what's working, what's not. Is there injuries involved? Like all of these things play a factor into how we call the game. And so with Kellen coming in, maybe he has tendencies and stuff like that in the past, but he has a whole new team. So we got to figure out what our identity is. And you try to do that within training camp and preseason and in the first couple games. And so what to expect is, we'll see. We'll see. All I know is I want is some type of consistency and some type of identity where it's like, hey, this is what the Chargers are trying to do. And it goes from game to game. With Joe, last year, like, hey, we had a bunch of receivers beat up. So guess what? Austin, you're going to get the ball 20 times a game now, when you're usually getting it, 12 to 15 in there. And so I was like, okay, I guess it's on my shoulders now, or Gerald's. And so we play. This game is super fluid. And so as long as we're continuing, that's what makes a good coordinator good, is how you're going to get the ball in your playmaker's hand in the right circumstances so that we can maximize our efficiency.
So like actual consecutive touches for you inside the 10-yard line might happen this year, Austin?
Hey,
that happen?
If you want to score touchdowns, that seemed to be working.
That's what I'm saying. I just want to make sure. And by the way, that was not a fantasy complaint there. I did not get you last year because I didn't draft high enough to acquire you, sir. So catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.